Well, water finally looks clear enough to go diving again. Hopefully there's some Spanish, a couple of days off the dark, so should be a right moon phase. Late arvo, got a light sou'easter, fingers crossed.
Well, I didn't see any Spanish on my normal spots, and I come back to check one of my Jew spots that has produced some really big fish for me in the past, and very lucky on this occasion. You can see I've really taken my time to aim carefully. I really tried to stone this fish and was just a little bit off, even though the fish was never going to get away, but I did end up destroying my shot. After a quick breathe up, it was down to untangle this fish. I don't put any tension on it because there's some very sharp stuff on these bommies, and the worst thing you can do is just give it a really good hard tug and cut your line, and the fish gets away when there was really no need for that to happen. This is the reason I also use 500-pound jinkai as my shooting line. The extra thickness of the line gives you that little bit extra when it comes to coral and sharp fish on bommies. I always try to bear hug these big Jewfish because as soon as you grab hold of them, they just come back to life and start going absolutely berserk, and I think it's where a lot of Jew get lost on the surface as you're trying to secure them.
That's a big Jew. Real big Jew.
This Jewfish ended up being 28 kilos. It was full of slimy mackerel, 33 slimy mackerel inside it, and heavily rayed up, so it was in absolutely peak condition.
Coming close. Like halfway down. That's it. Nice big Jew. Woo. Killed me. Oh, out for another crack. Hopefully it's clear enough for a Spanish. Getting towards the end of the Jew season, but good moon. And we'll see. Not very clear, I don't think, but anyway.
Well, I swam out to one of my favourite spots, and the visibility just kept getting worse and worse the further out I got, and the further down in the water column. The visibility just dropped off almost to zero. It took me 8 or 9 goes to get onto my really good spot on this particular bit of reef. You couldn't see anything from the surface. I did this all off landmarks, and then the GoPro makes it look a little bit clearer than what it was, but I just couldn't see anything in there. I could hear Jewfish around. I knew they were there somewhere, but just no chance for me to find it. I did one more dive on this reef, as you'll see, and to no avail. Realistically, you're better off just not to dive the reef when it's like this. Really, you just push Jewfish off the reef, scare anything else, and it's hard to get good shots into fish even if you do see them, so better to leave it for another day. I decided to swim in to do some of the closer reefs that would have a little bit better visibility and try my luck there. This clip is the raw footage of me shooting this 32 kilo Jewfish without any post video editing. Remember, the GoPro does make it look cleaner than what it actually is. I'll show this first and then I'll do a bit of analysis with a cleaned up clip so you can get a better idea of what's going on. This is the same video clip but cleaned up a bit to make it as clear as possible and a bit more enjoyable watching. You'll see that I've on my landmarks to find this spot. I've dived down, I know how to approach this, sneak down around behind this big bommy which has a massive overhang that the jewfish like to hang underneath. What often happens when you're spearing jewfish is that there'll be guard fish sitting at the edge of the school that will tip off the rest of the school that something's a problem, and this is exactly what happened here. The smaller fish have alerted all the rest of the fish and then they start swimming around in the bowl here, making it tricky. This is when you've got to really hold your nerve, don't do any sudden movements and hope that the fish will come back around the right way, and sure enough the big one's done exactly what I wanted him to do and give me a beautiful shot, and I've been able to stone this fish completely. This is where the bad visibility really helps you, and hanging against the wall of the overhang helps to shade you so the fish have a little bit of trouble seeing exactly what you are and can't make out that you're an immediate threat. The shot was straight through the back of the head, and the hardest part completely severed the spine just behind the jewel box. This was a brand new shaft as the 28 kilo fish had destroyed my other shaft, so it was nice and sharp and good butt rubbers, everything right to really punch through these hard fish. I knew this fish wasn't going anywhere, so after a quick breathe up I went back down to free it up, and wow, what a magnificent fish. This fish ended up being 32 kilos, 156 centimetres long, and we've just finished spawning. The ovaries are quite small and no food in it, so in its prime condition it could well have been 35 kilos plus, but I was extremely happy with 32 kilos. I pulled all the gill rogers out to bleed this fish, strung it. I reloaded my gun, and a couple of seconds later the gun just exploded and went off, and I'd actually broken the sear inside the mechanism somehow. It just really drives home the point of how dangerous a loaded spear gun is. You never point them at anyone, and especially don't have loaded spear guns in the boat. That could have been catastrophic if it happened in a boat.